Good evening and good afternoon, everyone. Movie Watcher here. And for today, we are going to be talking about the best and worst moments of one of my favorite Disney Channel shows, The Ghost and Molly McGee, for the second time in a row. That's right, The Ghost and Molly McGee. It's one of my favorites, let me tell you. Once my friends join in, we'll get started. Okay, let me see here. For today, I have this character for my profile pic. That is Libby Stein Torres, Molly McGee's best friend. Yes, she's taller than her, but still, doesn't matter of the height or the age, people can become friends. Okay, while I'm waiting, I'm gonna put down the first episode. See if I can find it. Okay. All right. First one is Scratch the Surface. Now, in this episode, Molly is saddened by the fact that she cannot tell Libby about her adventures with Scratch. He tells her that as more people know about him, he becomes less scary and could even lose his job. Job? What does he work for? So she decides to create an alter ego named Millie so that she can tell Libby anything. Libby sees through the disguise, becomes suspicious of Molly's actions, and chases her through Brighton. When Libby finally confronts her, she believes that Molly no longer wants to be friends with her. Wow, that's harsh. Scratch finally allows Molly to tell Libby the truth and she is able to see him for the first time, only to faint. I mean, come on. Scratch may be a ghost, but he can't be that scary, right? Huh. Wow. Who'd have thought? Anyway, after things settled down, they've all become friends with each other. I mean, yes, she may not be able to get used to meeting a ghost, but at least she saw him. Anyway, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Okay, while I wait for other people to join in, I'll put down the next episode. Alrighty then. Next one is friend off. Now, in this episode, Libby is shocked at Scratch's existence and immediately does not like him due to his personality and vice versa, whatever that means. However, Molly believes that they can be friends and arranges a scavenger hunt in order to get the two to work together. Over time, Scratch and Libby turn the whole thing into a competition to see who Molly's real best friend is. Molly ends up getting in trouble by falling into a compost machine, and Scratch and Libby put aside their differences and work together to save her. Ultimately, the two realize that they have a lot in common and proceed to playfully mock some of Molly's own habits, much to her annoyance. So, yeah, Libby and Scratch are in a bit of a battle with each other. Apparently, their relationship at first got off to a rocky start, but in the end, they decided to become friends. Yes, they are different, but hey, we all are different, so we have to put aside our differences and become friends no matter what. Anyway, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Okay. If you have any episodes of the Ghost and Molly McGee you wish to talk about, put them in the comments below or in the private chat. All right. Let me see what episode to put next. Okay, here's the next one. Festival of Lights. In this episode, the McGees and Scratch spend time with the Stein Torres family on the last day of Hanukkah. A power outage occurs all throughout Brighton, but Miss Stein Torres has a backup generator, causing everyone to stay in her store for the time being. The McGees and Scratch take part in various Jewish traditions, such as a game of dreidel, miracle boxes, storytelling, and in Scratch's cases, in Scratch's case, eating greasy foods. The generator, expected to last only 1 hour, ends up lasting 8 hours. Thankfully, the power comes back on, and Molly tells Libby that she has a wonderful time spending Hanukkah with her. Yes, Libby is Jewish, and she likes to celebrate Hanukkah. I don't know what Hanukkah is, but in case you do know, let me know right away. Okay. Anyway, I give this episode a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. What about you guys? Well, is nobody gonna join in? I'm waiting. All right. I will put down the next episode. Mm, Okay, next one, Saving Christmas. Now, in this episode, during the snowflake celebration, all the Christmas lights in town suddenly burn out, causing celebrations to be canceled. Molly and even Andrea ask Mr. Davenport to help by contributing more decorations, but he greedily turns them down. Scratch and the McGees try to pull a Christmas Carol event on him, but he sees through it. With Molly's spirits dashed, Scratch makes a solo effort, and Mr. Davenport discovers that Andrea is sad as well because she wanted to be the Snow Queen for the celebration. With his change of heart, Mr. Davenport, Scratch, and the McGees repair the town decorations just in time for Christmas. Yes, Christmas can be all about the presents. It's also about giving joy, goodwill, and peace on earth. Yeah, I see this episode many times. It's a good one. Anyway, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. What do you guys think? All right. Next one, Ice Princess. In this episode, everyone panics as a major snowstorm is about to hit Brighton. Scratch reveals that it is caused by the spirit of a failed ice skater named Sonia Davis, a parody of real-life Olympic figure skater and movie star Sonja Henie. The McGees visit her as she tries to perfect her routine and, in the process, learns that she needs a partner. Pete Pete is revealed to be a former ice skater himself and becomes Sonia's partner, but she threatens to freeze Brighton forever if their routine fails. The two of them perform flawlessly, but fail at their very last move. Instead of being angry, Sonia realizes that she had a lot of fun and gives up on winning, finally able to pass on. Yes, everyone was in a panic mode because they found out that a major snowstorm is about to hit their city. Yeah, that's just crazy. So, anyway, Sonia finally gives up on trying to win and was able to pass on peacefully. Okay, I give this episode a 10 out of 10, in my opinion. Alright then. Oop, hang on a sec. Let me put down the next episode. Here's the next one. Ready, set, snow. In this episode, Brighton Brighton gets a snowy day, and Molly calls Libby to ask her and Scratch to play in the snow. Instead, they want to try something. What is that word? Hide and keep warm. Angry, Molly tries to get Jeff, Sharon, Pete, and Grandma Nin to go out with her, but they all end up joining Scratch and Libby. Daryl, who was outside, finds it unbearable and also joins the hide. In a deranged state, Molly heads outside to enjoy the snow by herself. Despite being miserable and cold, she refuses to stop playing. Scratch finally convinces her to join the hide, only for everyone to become too warm and head outside after all. To Molly's frustration, that is. Yeah, Molly didn't try to join them to play outside in the snow, but unfortunately, she decided to go out and play in the snow by herself after she was being miserable and cold. Wait, was somebody watching? Oh. Anyway, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. All right. Let me see here. Let me see here. Uh-huh. Okay. Here's the next episode. Game night. In this episode, to get out of cleaning the downstairs bathroom, Scratch exploits the McGee's weakness for a board game titled Mega City, a game that Sharon is apparently lousy at and thus refuses to play. Scratch cheats and wins, forcing the McGee's to clean the bathroom instead of him, but Sharon finally decides to confront him with a winner take all situation. It turns out that Sharon is actually a former Mega City champion. She lost to her family on purpose to spare their feelings and completely annihilates Scratch with little effort. Scared of her ego, Pete takes the game and buries it, and Scratch ends up cleaning the downstairs bathroom. Well, Scratch, that's what happens when you cheat at a game. That's going to lead to some serious karma. Wait, was somebody watching again? I just had a viewer. Oh, great. Anyway, when you play a game, remember, play fair and don't cheat, because that can get you in serious trouble. Remember that. Anyway, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Okay. Here's the next one. The Don't Gooder. Molly becomes infuriated by the attention Andrea has been receiving for doing charity work, despite her not actually doing much in comparison to Molly. She attempts to outdo her by selling nougat bars, but Andrea outsells her. With Scratch's help, they discover that Andrea bought all the bars herself, and Molly decides to recruit Daryl to help expose her at a school event. She regrets this after realizing that Andrea was seeking the approval of her disinterested parents, and manages to cover for her when she gets exposed. Back at home, Molly embraces her parents while Scratch eats all of Andrea's nougat bars. Wow, that is just messed up. Doing good things is one thing, but doing something bad is another. Anyway, I give this episode 10 out of 10. Yep. Okay, next episode. All right. Next one. Innocent until proven ghostly. Now, in this episode, it's like a whodunit. Now, in this episode, Pete's anniversary cake, which he baked himself, is eaten. The family blames Scratch, so Molly holds a trial. Sharon, Daryl, and even Pete are all questioned, but they all have alibis. They discovered ectoplasm under the plate, further convincing them that Scratch is the culprit, but he still claims innocence. When Molly realizes that carob is one of the ingredients, she reveals to her family that Scratch has a severe carob allergy, proving his innocence. The McGees apologize for doubting him, and the cake is revealed to have been eaten by Jeff, who thought it was for him. Wow. That Jeff. He probably should have done that. Man, you're not supposed to eat other people's things? Anyway, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Let me see here. Here's the next one. Twin Trouble. In this episode, Pete dreads the arrival of his older twin siblings, Billy and Jilly, who unintentionally torment him. His sadness results in the arrival of goblins, whom Scratch is afraid of as they feed off of depression. Molly tries to fight them off, but she too succumbs to them, as does a powerless Sharon. However, upon seeing Daryl beginning to emulate the twins by picking on Molly, Pete finally chastises his siblings, who solemnly admit that they think of him as a success compared to them. The Sob Goblins are about to drain them, but the McGees all forgive and forget and hug to finally defeat them. Which they did. The Sob Goblins feed off of depression, but the McGees banded together to defeat them once and for all. Okay. I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Okay, let me see which one to put next. All right, here's the next episode. Goat Your Own Way. Now, in this episode, Molly is tasked with training a goat named Totes for the county fair. However, she is unable to comply with the strict regimen and tries the quote Molly method, which only results in Totes getting fat. Meanwhile, Scratch uses the proper training technique on Pete so that he can get Scratch his own personal fried food platter. The final day comes and Totes ends up eating Scratch's hard-earned platter, resulting in the McGees and Totes being banned from the fair. Realizing that she should have just listened to her mom and followed the proper procedures, Molly has Totes trim the Brighton City Park, where he ends up losing weight. Yep. That's just cold. They were banned from the fair. Man, that's just upsetting. Anyway, I don't think I've seen this episode, so I'll give it a 7. Okay. Next one. A very hungry ghost. Now, in this episode, Grandma Nin visits to help Molly and Daryl celebrate Sart Duan Sib while Pete and Sharon go camping. The special day is meant to be a feast for ghosts, exciting Scratch, but he must invite other guests. He intends to only bring Jeff, but after being told by Scratch to not tell nobody, a double negative, Jeff ends up inviting even more ghosts. Soon the Ghost Council arrives as well, forcing Molly to pretend that she is under servitude to Scratch. Thankfully, the council leaves satisfied after having a nice meal. Scratch fails to get any food, but Nin offers to order him a pizza. Yeah, so that's what happened in that episode. That is just crazy. I haven't seen this episode, so I'll just give it an 8. Okay. Here's the next one. Scare tactics. Now, in this episode, Scratch and Jeff attend a yearly scaring seminar, but play hooky during the class. Meanwhile, Molly is left home alone until she learns that Daryl's pet tarantula, Heidi, Hairy Legs, is loose. Despite her best efforts, she is unable to capture her. Scratch has to perform a scare tactic to the chairman or risk getting sent to the flow of failed phantoms. Jeff saves him by claiming that he invented a new tactic and peeking in on Molly. They see her horribly frightened and think Scratch was responsible. After he returns from the seminar, Molly reveals that they cannot enter the house because Heidi had babies. Heidi the tarantula? You gotta be kidding me. Heidi Hairy Legs has had babies? I wonder how many. Anyway, I give this episode here a 10 out of 10. No, wait, scratch that. 9 out of 10. All right. Here's the next one. The Bad Boy Bobby Daniels. Patty reveals that her long-lost love, Bobby Daniels, mysteriously abandoned her when she was younger, and Molly and Scratch decide to look for him. They find him at a library where he has become very homely. Despite his failure to return to his bad boy self, Molly reunites him with Patty. When she reminds him why he left, Bobby claims that she sent him a letter. Suddenly, a masked rider kidnaps him and Molly. Scratch and Patty give chase and learn that Linda, Patty's best friend, split them because she did not want to lose her. With everything resolved, Patty and Bobby resume their relationship. Well, at least we know the plot twist in this episode. Anyway, I give this episode a 6 because I haven't seen it. I don't think I have. Maybe I should. Okay. All right. Here's the next one. Citizen McGee. Now, in this episode, Molly volunteers for the mayor of the day position, but Mayor Brunson gives her the job permanently as he finds it stressful. Molly sets up a syrup powered slide as part of a quote, enhappifying the town, but this attracts horseflies that swarm the citizens. Molly and Scratch find Brunson, who does not want to return, but his new lease on life is not all that much better. Molly calls upon the ghosts of the previous mayors, who convince Brunson to take his job back, and he saves the town. While Molly is sad she was not a good mayor, Brunson tells her that she will make a good mayor one day through time and experience. Yep, Molly was trying to do the right thing by becoming mayor for a day, but unfortunately she made a big mistake. But not to worry, Molly will become a good mayor someday. She just have to take time and practice. Okay. Next episode. Let me put it down. Here's the next episode, The Internship. Molly is assigned to be an intern to Weird Larry at his cluttered pawn shop, which she believes is, quote, where dreams go to die. She tries to get out of it, but when that fails, she tries to make the store cleaner and more efficient. But this saddens Larry, who had it organized his way. She finally learns the error of her ways when Larry shows off a mechanical dragon made from discarded junk. Meanwhile, Scratch hires an intern named Reggie, but mistreats him. When Reggie tells the council that he actually learned positive things from Scratch, he is promoted to be his boss instead, much to Scratch's chagrin. I mean, yes, Molly was assigned to be an intern for Weird Larry, but there was so much clutter everywhere. Anyway, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. What about you guys? Hello? Anyone there? Nobody gonna join? What is this? Anyway, here's the next episode. The Lucky Penny. In this one, Libby is concerned with Friday the 13th as her bad luck tends to increase during that time. Molly offers to give good luck to Libby for the day, and Scratch enchants a penny with Molly's good luck and gives it to Libby. Libby experiences a good day while Molly begins to suffer. However, they accidentally drop the penny into Andrea's purse, resulting in her getting too lucky and unknowingly absorbing everyone's luck and creating nearby disasters. Libby is forced to counteract and successfully gets the penny back. She decides to give the good luck back to Molly as she finds it too stressful for her. Well, yeah, even though you have good luck, it's not going to last forever. Although I haven't seen this episode, I give it 7. Okay. Okay. Here's the next one. Lock, Stock, and Peril. In this episode, the McGees are trying to fix a broken fuse after Scratch knocked out the power while using the bathroom. Molly accidentally locks the door to the basement, trapping Sharon, Pete, and Daryl in there. While they panic and cause internal conflict, Molly and Scratch go to get help from Weird Larry, only to get distracted by various things and miss him several times throughout the day. Molly is finally forced to overcome her absent-mindedness and has Scratch possess Weird Larry so that they can drive back to the house and get him to finally unlock the basement door. Molly apologizes for getting distracted. Yes, so we can't be distracted while we're doing something we're supposed to do. We all got to stay focused. Anyway, for this episode, I give it and 8. Let me see here. Ah, hang on a sec. Here's the next one. Out of house and home. Now, in this episode, while trying to clean the gutters, Pete falls off the roof and ends up in the hospital. The McGees find themselves with an exorbitant bill requiring Molly, Daryl, and Sharon to find quick ways to make money while a very compliant Scratch performs all the duties and cares for Pete. As usual, things do not go so smoothly for the McGees as their family dynamic changes. Luckily, they manage to get all the money and send it to the hospital, only for the only for realtor Candace Green to inform them that they did not pay their mortgage, forcing the McGees to move out and leaving Scratch all alone. Yeah, that is just harsh. They need a house to live in, and because they didn't pay their mortgage, they had to move out. Wow. Harsh. Very harsh. Anyway, I give this episode a 10. Okay, let me see here. All right. Next episode is Home is Where the Haunt Is. In this episode, the McGees are forced to live in their van in the woods. Molly continues to go to school, but tells Libby that everything is fine, though she can clearly see through her lies. Meanwhile, Scratch tries to scare away any potential buyers until Candace gets the attention of a creepy, expectant couple who take a liking to Scratch. Scratch begs Candace to not sell the house, and although she cannot stop the sale, she allows the McGees one final goodbye to the house. Fortunately, Andrea, who saw the McGees' living conditions, convinced Brighton to help them buy their house back. The McGees happily reunite with Scratch and their house. So, they got their house back. Finally. They don't have to live in live in the woods no more. All right. Anyway, I give them 10. I give them this episode 10 out of 10. Okay. Just a minute. Sharing is caring. Scratch puts off his scare report until the last minute, and to make matters worse, he is now filled with, quote, joy, gradually making him smaller, cuter, and unable to perform his task efficiently. Molly decides to fill in for him and is further motivated when Scratch laughs at her notion. At the ghost doctor, Scratch is told that he needs to find his fear while Molly tries and fails miserably to scare people around Brighton. In the end, Scratch gets scared when he sees Molly in danger and he reverts to his usual self while rescuing her, ironically meaning that she technically scared him successfully. Anyway, I give this episode a 9. Why not? Let me see here. All Night Plight. Molly wants to hold a gathering for herself, Libby, and Scratch to watch a rare comet fly over Brighton. Molly has her mother drive out of the country due to the city's light pollution, and things get even more complicated as a drowsy Libby behaves like a fantasy hero, and Scratch desperately tries to order something to eat as the snacks were accidentally left at home. After Libby scares a herd of buffalo towards them, Molly admits to a frustrated Scratch that she wanted one perfect memory for all of them to remember. Scratch becomes a hot air balloon and flies Molly and Libby above the overcast sky so that they can finally see the comet, which they did, and it was the best thing in the world. All right. I give this episode a 10 out of 10. So, what do you guys think? what episodes do you want to talk about next? Okay, here's the next episode. The jig is up. Now, in this episode, the Ghost Council discovers that joy has increased in Brighton and sends Jinx, a joy hunter, to watch over Scratch. He continuously attempts to dissuade her, but is later horrified to learn that ghosts spread misery because the chairman feeds off of it. He finally manages to get rid of her and get back with Molly, but Jinx returns and discovers Molly as the source of Brighton's joy. She attempts to kill her, but Scratch stands between them, realizing that Scratch has befriended a human this entire time. Jinx takes him away to be punished, leaving Molly distraught. Yep. Now Molly really has to do something to save Scratch. Anyway, I give this episode a 9. All right. Here's the next episode, Molly versus the Ghost World. Now, in this episode, the McGees and Libby are all concerned for Scratch's well being. Molly calls upon Jeff to aid them. Thanks to Jeff's portal, Molly becomes a wraith, someone who is not dead but still a ghost. Her mere existence in the ghost realm causes joy to be spread whenever she touches anything. She manages to reach Scratch at his trial, but the council decides to send Molly, Scratch, and Jeff to the flow of failed phantoms. However, Molly's joy overpowers the flow and frees every single ghost that was sent there, while she disintegrates the chairman with a single touch. Everyone returns home back in the human world. So, in the end of this episode, Molly saves Scratch from impending doom. And that's not all. She finally defeated the chairman with a single touch. Wow, amazing. Okay, I give that episode a 10 out of 10. All right. I'm going to talk about one more episode. then I'm gonna end the stream. The new paranormal. Now, in this episode, a new family, the Chens, move to Brighton, and the McGees greet them with a warm welcome. Meanwhile, Scratch unwillingly becomes the new chairman of the Ghost World after the original one's demise in the season 1 finale, and teaches the barrister ghosts to have fun. The McGees want to be friends with the Chens and find that the people in their family have common interests as them. However, after Oliver, the son of the Chen family, reveals that he and his family are ghost hunters, Molly tries to hide the barrister ghosts from them, during which scary creatures called frightmares appear in the house, forcing Scratch to don the chairman's outfit and send them away. In order to avoid suspicion from the Chens, the McGees decide to stay friends with the family, while promising to protect Scratch. Meanwhile, the Chens discover that there are ghosts in Brighton and set out to hunt them. Wow, that just messes things up completely. So, the new family moves into the neighborhood, and the McGees welcome them to the neighborhood, only to find out that they're all ghost hunters. Huh. They're like Ghostbusters, but they don't have Ecto 1. Anyway, I give that episode a 10 out of 10. Yep. Well, this has been a wonderful live stream. I don't understand why nobody joined. I've been waiting. But anyway, I hope all of you had a good time. And I will try to come up with the next live stream to do for next Sunday. So until then, stay in touch and have a nice day.